Two of the government officials working with President Barack Obama on Libya and other international situations are Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Secretary of Defense Robert Gates. Let's look at an update on what the American public thinks about these two individuals. For Secretary of State Clinton, very, very positive news. Her latest favorable rating in our Gallup polling is 66%, her unfavorable rating 31%. But that 66% favorable image for Hillary Clinton is the second highest in our Gallup history of measuring Hillary Clinton, which goes back, by the way, all the way to 1992, and is the highest favorable rating we have for Hillary Clinton since February of 1999, as her husband was just finishing up with the ordeal of impeachment in the trial in the U.S. Senate. Look at the difference by party here among Democrats. Her party, of course, 92% favorable rating. That's very, very high. Among independents, 62%. And among Republicans, the opposing party to Secretary Clinton, we have a 40% favorable rating, which isn't that bad as these kind of cross-partisan ratings go. By the way, if we go back to 2008, when Hillary Clinton was in the midst of political wrangling with Barack Obama, of course, she was a candidate for the nomination. She was fighting it out with him. Her favorable rating was much lower. In fact, at one point, it was roughly equal back in 2008, 48 favorable, 48 unfavorable. So clearly, her position now as a diplomat, Secretary of State, above the fray, as it were, puts her in a much more positive position in the eyes of the average American than when she was a political candidate. Secretary of Defense Robert Gates, 52% favorable, 22 unfavorable, and his rating across party, 48% favorable among Republicans, 61% among Democrats, which is interesting because remember, Secretary of Defense Gates was appointed by a Republican, George W. Bush, when he was president. That's the latest on these two government officials, Hillary Clinton and Robert Gates. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Gallup's Editor-in-Chief.